Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton with Big C. This is Charlton and Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the iHeartRadio network, the number one network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the number one sports show in the universe, according to Big C and them good old boys down south. I want to say bienvenidos to all of our listeners in Latin America, also across the pond in London, England, as well as Paris, France. We are also in 11 countries in Europe following Big C Sports. So thank you so much for all your support. But you know I love you good old boys up in Canada. The CFL is starting off right there, kicking off on Thursday night, as well as you good old boys down south on the land of the free and the home of the brave Big C. How's it going for all you good old boys down south?
We're kicking off football down here every night. Somebody's throwing a ball at somebody. So
Yeah.
It's always the season when it comes to football here in the south.
Yeah.
You know, it's sweltering down here still, I tell you, but just gorgeous time being down here in the south. You know, we got baseball in full swing, Charlton.
Yes.
We just finally ended the hockey season where, the Predators made the Stanley Cup for the first time
Yeah.
in team history to bring a lot of prestige down to the southern part of the United States.
Yes.
We know we got college football going to be kicking off soon. We got some baseball teams down here playing in the southern, part of the region in Florida and in Georgia.
Yeah.
We have some major league teams that constantly bring promise. So, it's always an exciting time, and football will be kicking off before we even know it.
Well, we know you good old boys in down south in Alabama. They said football season starting pretty soon. They said, well, when did it end? We know you got to do it year round. I want to say today is a beautiful June the 21st, 2017, and so many great things in the world of sports to talk about. The CFL's kicking off on Thursday. The NBA draft is up on Thursday. A lot of people talking about that. Also, Pope Francis. Big C, we were saying that sports would unite people. Pope Francis is meeting with NFL officials. Now, we said at first maybe the Pope also listens to Big C Sports, so thank you, Pope Francis, for following Big C Sports. Also, some talk about the Lakers and some Major League Baseball. But Big C, the first thing I want to tip on is today's segment is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. And when you go by and test drive yours, tell them that Charlton and Big C sent you. Big C, what's going on in the world of the Oakland Raiders? They're talking about giving Carr a $25 million a year contract. That's more than Tom Brady. Big C, your thoughts?
He's going to make $1.8 million on the last year of his rookie contract.
Yeah.
They've been trying to put together this extension. Carr did not want to go into training camp without having this contract in place. Now, you're talking about a guy who's looking at making Kirk Cousins money.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins is sitting there just at $24.8 million.
Yeah.
Didn't make the playoffs
No,
last year, Charles.
not at all.
He didn't make the playoffs at all. He had a subpar losing record.
Yeah.
The Raiders won the division, became very relevant, in the AFC, once again. And Carr was the main catalyst of that up until he broke his finger.
Yes.
But, he showed that he can guide this organization, Charlton. Mark Davis, should not have any problem opening up his checkbook for David Carr to solidify the Raiders' future.
Yeah.
You're not talking about a one-year deal like Kirk Cousins in Washington where, we're going to put the franchise tag on you.
For what reason?
Yeah, really, for what reason? I mean, it just goes to show that the NFL will overpay for product.
Oh, yeah.
Depending on what the product looks like.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be productive. It just looks a certain way.
Yeah.
But Carr is really one of probably the top 5 quarterbacks in the league last season.
Oh, yeah.
As far as productivity and what he allowed his team to achieve, in the long run. And that's what you're building. The Raiders would love an opportunity to potentially bring a championship back to the Bay Area prior to Exodus, towards Las Vegas.
Yeah.
They put in some key players through the offseason, through free agency and draft and trade, Charlton. So they're right now sitting on the precipice of possibly challenging New England next year for that AFC title.
Well, Big C, I do think you're right about that. You look at Carr. I recall he passed for over 500 yards, almost 600 yards, if you take away some of the calls where the balls were dropped down in Tampa in the heat and humidity. And Tampa should have a good season coming up this year. But obviously a little bit of unluckiness when he had his leg broken, and the Raiders are rolling in prime position to at least get, you would think, to the AFC Championship game. But we know what happened when Carr broke his leg. And now Beast Mode's here. They have that tandem core of receivers. Their defense is better led by Khalil Mack. They have the confidence that a lot of people thought they've had, but they never really produced it. This team is better now, and I think beast mode kind of adds an icing on top of the cake. I hope that Derek Carr can get as much money as he can, but just keeping in mind, Andrew Luck's the highest paid quarterback in the NFL, and what happened to the Colts? They haven't seen the playoffs in the last couple of seasons, Big C. So good luck to Oakland, and hopefully they can make that happen. Big C, I do want to touch a little bit on the CFL also. I think there's a couple of quarterbacks. You look at RG3, and you look at Kaepernick, obviously, and Manziel. I think the Hamilton Tiger Cats own the rights to them, and I believe that Vince Young was just cut by the Saskatchewan Rough Riders up in the CFL, so it's not as easy to play up north as a lot of people think. You have to have a lot of speed. You can't be a 400-pound lineman where they put you in the books at 350, Big C. So just talk about your thoughts about those players going north of the border. I think Vince Ferragamo did it, as well as a couple of other players from back in the day, Big C. Your thoughts? Yeah.
Vince Young, though, now, Charlton, is 35 years old.
Yeah.
He's not a young man. And so to come back from a torn hamstring at 35 years of age and you haven't played football basically for 4 years, that's a really long shot. So his career may be all but over.
Yeah.
But, he went up and he took the chance trying to rejuvenate his career. But, you talk about some great quarterbacks that have gone north of the border. You talked about Ferragamo exiting across the border after he had played the Pittsburgh Steelers in a Super Bowl.
Yeah, yeah.
Doug Flutie took that exodus to Canada after he was released from the Chicago Bears under Mike Ditka.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of quarterbacks that have gone north, but Charlton, there's been even more quarterbacks that have come south and played in the NFL. One of the most infamous fumbles in NFL history.
Yeah.
Joe Persagic was playing quarterback for the New York Giants when Herm Edwards scooped up a fumble between he and Larry Zonka and took it back, and the Eagles won the division.
Yeah.
Back in the 70s. But, you also look at Joe Theismann, who was a Super Bowl winning quarterback with the Washington Redskins, Charlton. Y.E. Tittle came from up in Canada long before you even got on a pacifier.
I'm still on a pacifier.
You got to also remember who was in the NFL and CFL Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Another quarterback that's not so illustrious career, but had some success in the NFL, Eric Kramer, who took the Detroit Lions to their last NFC Championship game against the Washington Redskins, Charlton.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of quarterbacks that have come south. Jeff Garcia, who played there in your neighborhood.
Yeah, 49ers.
And he played up in Canada also before joining the 49ers. So there has been a lot of quarterback success from the Canadian Football League that has transcended into the NFL.
Yeah.
But, it's a game of two tails, a bigger field, faster game, and, the NFL, it calls for more bigger players overall. But, we see that both players, both leagues can accept players from the other league. But, this league kicks off in the summer. They couldn't play in California right now, Charlton, with this.
Oh, my God. Tell me, talk about, I know that POTUS says there's no such thing as global warming. Okay, so maybe you believe him or you believe what you feel when you walk outside, Big C. But I think there's been some global warming. I think Central California. It's an alternative, yeah. That's funny. And don't believe in science, obviously. You kids going to college, don't believe in science when you're at Cal, Berkeley, and Harvard and those type of schools, Big C. So obviously a lot of things happening with the CFL. Love watching the game. Love seeing the transition of players going across the border and coming back. And unlike Donald Trump, they're not trying to build a wall to keep people from going north or south of the border, Big C. Could you imagine if Canada put together a wall so people couldn't come from America to go up there, Big C? Your thoughts on that?
Well, Charlton, they have that great medication program up there in Canada, and so many Americans track across the border to get prescriptions filled in Canada, don't they? Because they can get them filled at a much lesser rate. A lot of seniors make that trek across the border, for medical reasons.
Yeah.
Because of things they can't get fulfilled here in the U.S.
Yeah.
There's always been a solid relationship between Canada and the U.S. politically, Charlton.
Yeah.
They're one of our strongest allies north of the border, so and it's always been a haven.
Yeah.
It goes back to the Underground Railroad, Charlton, where so many slaves went up north across the border to Canada to survive, to get Charles.
Yeah, and that's amazing you brought that up because African Americans were more loved in Canada than they were here in the United States, in the land of the free, in the home of the brave. But we know life is about making progress. And speaking of progress, I want to bring it up, and I want to credit you again. You know, I was telling someone, they were asking me, well, who is Big C? I said, he's the mystic. But the fact is, they can Google this. We were talking about how sports will galvanize our society faster than politics. Well, guess who's also meeting with the NFL, Big C, to talk about bringing people together and how it could create you. No, it wasn't Donald Trump, Big C. And wrong answer on that. But it was Pope Francis. Okay, Pope Francis met with the NFL along with Jerry Jones, Franco Harris, the great running back out of the Pittsburgh Steelers from back in the day when they won 4 Super Bowl championships. Let me ask you, Big C, when people say, well, you can't blend politics and sports, we know everybody's trying to do it now. You just happen to be the first to do it. What does the Pope see in talking to the NFL about treating people fair, Big C? Your thoughts?
He's probably got a 4K television.
Yeah.
I don't say he sees a lot, but
Yeah.
Pope is a know-all. And for the NFL to take, knowledge from the Pope to listen to what this great holy man has to say, Charles,
Yeah.
is profound.
Yeah.
And you seek out all types, when you're looking for direction.
Yeah.
And what better direction is to go to than the Pope? I mean, this is a man without difference.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
He is open to every man.
Yep.
He is. And so if he can help the NFL in any kind of way settle its grievances that it continuously has over time,
Yeah.
get them to ease some of the restrictions that they have against players and sanctions.
Yeah.
Just allow players to be men.
Yeah.
I think so often in professional sports, Charlton, that's the one thing that's not allowed as much because owners have so much power.
Yeah.
And they don't want to relish any of it, Charlton. They don't want to let any of it subside. And so I think this is a mediation scenario that the Pope can assist with as far as giving the NFL new direction. Because
Yeah.
these owners, we know that there's some old phobies.
Yeah.
They're stuck in their ways. They don't want to change. But, to listen to his holiness and hopefully take some guidance and tutelage from him because he's a very intelligent man, Charles, that speaks 7 languages.
Yeah.
And so it's not like anybody can be in there whispering.
Yeah, he and I'm sure he records conversations unlike POTUS. But I just want to bring up this contrast. And again, I congratulate you, Big C, because you brought it up first, and now even the Pope is doing it. So I'm sure the Vatican follows Big C Sports, okay? But so thank you, Pope, for doing that. I just want to contrast that to our own leader and Donald Trump. Whether you like Trump or not, he's very divisive, very divisive person. And you have the Pope saying the antithesis of what Trump says, which is about bringing people together and respecting all races and cultures, and trying to use the sports business to galvanize it. He follows football also in Argentina, but he follows football where they have a different kind of football, the rugby kind. We play the manly kind in the United States. We understand that. Hopefully he'll forgive me for saying that, Big C. But at the same time, what can every NFL team learn from just what you're talking about? And I think it's worth repeating. What can they learn from someone that people go to pray, ask for forgiveness of their sins, etc., when we have openly people saying don't hire someone because of whatever color they are, or when black men are penalized easier than the white guys who've committed the same kind of heinous crimes or even more, Big C, that just kind of pat it on the back, Big C? Your thoughts?
Well, you would like for to start at the league's office, Charlton, with the commissioner, as well as down to the ownership of the teams.
Yeah.
To have forgiveness, to have understanding. Society has changed over the last 2 decades, Charlton. Football is not what it was. Society is not what it was. There's things that are more lenient.
Yeah.
I think the NFL needs to look at one thing more than anything else, and that's the abuse of pharmaceutical narcotics.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
The NFL readily gives it away to their players. They'll make you a drug addict. Yet, if you're on the street utilizing those type of narcotics, and we just saw that with Tiger Woods a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Tiger Woods had the same narcotics in his system that the NFL passes out like Skittles in the locker room.
Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing?
They walk around, Charleston, and it's like if you can read, you can get any drug that you want in an NFL locker room.
Yeah.
You don't have to go to a pharmacy because you have an in-house pharmacy.
Yeah.
And so it's quiet as it's kept. Little known fact by the American public, Charleston, the average NFL player is prescribed 150 times more than the average citizen.
Wow. Wow.
So you think about that. You're taking 150 more times the painkillers that the average citizen would receive.
Yeah.
And we're talking about just the average citizen period based on the number of NFL players.
Yeah.
150 times more is what they're prescribed. So your organs really don't stand a chance. Your heart, your kidneys, your liver, these things, your esophagus, they're being deteriorated, eroded by the pharmaceuticals that the NFL freely gives to players.
Yeah.
But yet the NFL wants to say that marijuana is bad for you. I understand that all the studies are not in on marijuana, but I haven't seen a study yet saying that marijuana erodes your kidneys, your livers, your esophagus, Johnson.
Right.
These things have not been determined by any medical study in the history of the use of marijuana. But we know what all these painkillers will do. If anybody goes back and remembers the movie with Dr. Amalo.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, concussion.
Concussion. And you saw what Alec Baldwin, he played the role of a doctor in that movie, when he talked about the painkillers that he prescribed for Mike Webster and other Steelers players.
Yeah.
And this would kill a horse.
Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff you give a racehorse when you want to, exterminate it.
Yeah.
This is what they give football players to ease their pain, Joe.
Well, Big C, obviously that's a great point you brought up because people think, well, it's just NFL. These guys are making millions of dollars, but you were just down in Florida. And I don't know if you're at Mar-a-Lago or not. I know some things people don't admit to are just an alternative fact. But I do know that when you look at the college football world, you can't get to the NFL unless you're doing something, okay? For the people who are so naive to think that you have people that are 100% clean, maybe they're in there a handful, maybe they are. But the reality is, if you're going to play in this game where they want you to put on 40 and 50 pounds of muscle, not belly fat like the guy down at the bar at 6 o'clock, they want 40, 50 pounds of muscle. You can't get that by doing push-ups and drinking beers and eating Big Macs, Big C. So obviously, there's also a push at the college level where you don't make any money unless you're at a handful of schools, Big C. We won't mention them down in the SEC, of course, but a handful of schools. Okay, but obviously you bring a great point. So we hope that they can put more science into what keeps the human body safe. And speaking of keeping the human body safe, I want to say sports is a billion-dollar industry, and boys and girls sports is the foundation to that billion-dollar industry. When you need insurance, go through Ben and Mark. They've been around for half a century. They also represent through Big C Sports. And then in all 50 states, they cover professional athletes, collegiate athletes, and your high school athletes, even your mom and pop soccer leagues. So whenever you need insurance, tweet out or call them and let them know Charlton and Big C sent you. So obviously, Big C, a lot of great news when it comes to that. I want to get some more information on a few things we're going to be doing tomorrow. Going to be over in the Bay Area because the NBA is holding their draft. And downtown San Francisco is where we'll be setting up, where the Golden State Warriors are the world champions and have been representing the NBA for 3 of the last 5 years from the Western Conference. So it'd be great to go to the Bay Area where the people are really crazy about winning basketball franchises. So I want to just get your thoughts. So many things happening in the world of trade. Dwight Howard called Superman. He's gone now. A lot of other things happen. Even DeAndre Jordan, his name comes up on the chopping block for the Clippers. Big C, your thoughts on all the movement happening in the NBA?
Well, you think about Dwight Howard, Charlton. A decade ago, he was sort of one of the budding superstars in the NBA.
Yeah.
Now, in the past 6 years, he's become a journeyman with 5 different teams.
Yeah.
I mean, he got U-Haul parked in his driveway.
Yeah, that's funny.
But when you think about the transition of the NBA utilizing the big man, Charlton,
yeah,
they just don't do it anymore. If you're 6'11", 6'10", 7 foot, if you don't have a three-point shot like Kevin Durant,
yeah,
you can't make it. Your friend there, Boogie Cousins, before he got traded from Sacramento, your Starbucks buddy.
Yeah. No, he wasn't my buddy.
He wanted to live out there on that three-point arc.
Yeah.
But he didn't have enough game to play out there, Charles. He knocked out a shot every now and then.
Yeah.
But he consistently couldn't do it. You look at Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
The Pelicans have never made the playoffs with him playing at the center position,
No.
Charles.
No.
Dirk Nowitzki was the last previous big man that we saw at 7 feet that could control the game from the outside prior to Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
So this game has changed expeditiously. I mean, you look at, Thompson there in Cleveland.
Yeah.
They're still looking to see if he's going to show up for a playoff playoff game.
Yeah. Yeah.
So to be between 6'10" and 7 feet, and even if you look at the Warriors, they had two 7-footers, 7+ footers.
Yeah.
They played minimal minutes in that series, Charlton, to allow the Warriors to dominate the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah.
You look at Whiteside in Miami.
Yeah.
Miami didn't make the playoffs.
No.
So these 7-footers now, Charlton, are becoming obsolete, where back in the 70s, everyone gravitated to have a big man that could dominate the paint. You know, they started to move away from that with Elijah Wan, you know, and Patrick Ewing,
Yeah.
where you had more mobile guys who could shoot the ball from 15-foot range outside. You know, Tim Duncan could do that. David Robinson both could do it in San Antonio.
Yep.
But now that 7-footer has evolved. You look at the Greek Freak in Milwaukee.
Oh, yeah.
You know, a 6'11" point guard. You know, that is still trying to figure out how good he could be.
Oh, he's amazing.
So, you know, so if you're a 7-foot lumberer, you're going to be spending more time on the pine than you are on the floor, Charlton. So this game has evolved. Basketball has changed. You know, I remember growing up, if you had a guard that was 6'3", 6'4", you had a big guard. And now we're talking about the Greek Freak, you know, at 6'11", Magic Johnson was 6'8".
Yep.
LeBron James is 6'8", and so many other players are in that 6'7" to 6'9" category that can play the point or the two-guard job.
Yeah, and that's a very good point, Big C. Also, there's some talk. I know the Lakers dealt D'Angelo Russell in a package deal with Moskov, and they got a kid that's already from California by the name of Brook Lopez and his brother Robin Lopez. They played college ball at Stanford, but in the high school, they were two of the top preps on the same team in the nation at Fresno San Joaquin Memorial, a private school. So for him coming back to the West Coast, even though he's going down south, what are your thoughts on Lopez? Is he the fit they're talking about, and does that help or hinder the pursuit of Paul George? Big C, your thoughts?
Well, what's wrong is just what we talked about, that to have a 7-footer that's not really a mobile, dominant player, but, you know, he's going to be more of an asset to the Lakers than what Moskov was.
Oh, yeah.
This was a better trade for the Lakers, and I think they just wanted to get rid of D'Angelo Russell.
Yeah.
So it's easy to package him in the deal and send him to the Nets, where he'll toil in obscurity out there in New York.
Yeah.
You know, his career may be over in 2 years if he keeps up the antics that he had in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
But, you know, when you have a young team, Charlton, it's like an NFL team that has two quarterbacks. You have no quarterback.
Yeah.
And that's what you have with the Lakers. You have a team, you can't even say that it's talented. You know, you have a team of potential. You
Yeah.
can't even say that they're talented. And now you have to have instant productivity in the NBA. You can't say that we're on a 4 and 5 year building process.
Oh, no, not anymore.
Because by that time, Charlton, everybody around you has changed also.
Yeah.
So you got to get players, and, you know, we got the draft coming up.
Yeah.
We're looking at these young players. These young players are not ready for the NBA. You look around, and even on the rosters, we just got through watching a great championship series, Charlton.
Yeah.
There was no rookie who was a significant role player on either one of those teams, even though Golden State had a rookie out of UNLV, and he was a second-round draft pick.
Yeah.
But there was no rookie who went out and dominated in any portion of this last championship series, Charlton, we just saw. So these young players coming out, and, you know, they're talking about the first 5 draft picks all being freshmen coming out of college.
That's crazy.
What type of impact are these 19-year-olds going to make in the NBA, Charlton? It's just not going to be there.
No.
And because when you look at them, none of them won a national championship in college.
Nope.
So they weren't that dominant in college on a 40-game schedule. Now you got to deal with an 82-game schedule.
That's funny, Big C. You keep bringing it up, but I keep seeing television, and of course they got to sell everything. They'll even sell you dog food if they get you excited about that. But why so many players? I was watching something with a kid that was working out with, I think his name was Stacy McGrady from back in the day, and he was talking to the kid folks, and he was saying, what are your goals for the NBA? And he said to be the MVP. He said of the team. He said no, of the league. He said, well, those are big goals. But look at how many people he would have to climb the mountain to get to, Big C. Talking about being the best player in the universe. Here's a kid in college that could not lead the Washington Huskies to the national championship. How's he going to lead a team to the NBA finals? And I wish him well. But for all of the owners to put so much money and time and stake into a kid coming out of college, whether it's Lonzo Ball, and I think he'll be great as long as he's passing the ball. But you're right. Don't put a lot of stock into having a guy come out of the NBA draft and lead you to the promised land. I want to get your thoughts as we get ready to close on the Clippers. You know, RG3 and DeAndre Jordan. Jordan's a great rebounder. Chris Paul, he's one of CP3. I called him RG3, but CP3, one of the best basketball players. But be honest, Big C, he's not really a closer when you compare him to Curry, when you compare him to LeBron James. If you go back to Magic Johnson when he played back in L.A., these guys were closers. I don't think you could even say he's as good as Ginobili because they have championships. I'm not knocking him, but he doesn't deserve the same kind of consideration. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, no, he really doesn't, Charles. You know, he's more of a team role player.
Yeah.
You know, you think of him as a leader, but he has never taken a team beyond the first round
No.
of the playoffs, whether he was in New Orleans or
Yep.
with the Clippers, Charles.
Yeah.
You expect a player of the marketing of a Chris Paul to be able to move on in the playoffs.
Yeah.
You know, and he just has done it. It's like this die-hard scenario over George.
Yeah.
You know, George hasn't hit a game-winning shot in his NBA career. It's been around 7 years. Still has not found a way to hit a game-winning shot.
That's not true. Have you seen this? Have you seen this Gatorade commercial? He hit the game-winner shot on the Gatorade commercial, Big C. You got to include that too. Or does Hollywood not count, Big C? Okay, just making sure.
We're talking against live players. You know, he hasn't hit a game-winning shot.
Okay.
I mean, you probably go out to the backyard and hit 2 or 3 game-winning shots.
I hit one last night, Big C. I hit one last night.
You want to see you against live players. So this area of Jesus with George, it's really a tough scenario because you're only renting the guy for 1 year.
Yeah.
There's no guarantee that he'll be in love with the city that you're in, and he'll re-sign with you.
Yeah.
The only way that I would sign George is that you sign the contract. That's the only way I'm going to make a deal for you. You got to put your ink on a 4-year deal.
Yeah.
So that I know I have you around with my organization. I'm not going to rent you for a year.
Yeah.
Move that salary cap, and now all of a sudden you go to another team that you figure is better, that you have a chance to win with.
Yeah.
I want you to stay here and help me win with my team.
Yeah.
And that goes back to those young rookies that we talk about, Charlton. You know, which one of those rookies is the guy who is going to take the next franchise to greatness?
Yeah.
Well, one of the things, Charlton, you always have, and I don't care what sport it is, whether it's baseball, basketball, football.
Yeah.
Okay? If you're drafted in the top 3, generally you got a bad team.
Yeah.
So that one player doesn't turn that organization around.
Yeah.
You may end up destroying that player's career, but he's not enough to turn your organization around where you've only won 20 games the previous year.
Yeah.
He's not going to be like a Larry Bird where you go from 26 to 61 wins in a year. That's not going to happen in the NBA ever again.
Yeah.
So these young guys, Charlton, that come out now, and also one of the things about Larry, he was a senior.
Yeah.
He did his 4 years in college, so he had that maturity about him. We don't get that anymore. You know what? The first 3 guys drafted, Charlton, will be 19 years old.
Yeah.
19 years old. How are they going to go out and tell grown men that have been playing in the league 4, 5, 10 years
Yeah.
what they have to do?
Big-
It just doesn't work, Charlton. There's a generation gap even in the game of professional sports.
That makes a lot of sense, Big C. The last thing we'll touch on, you know, we talk about ownership, and I talk about that wise man I met at the barbershop in Oakland over there covering the finals with the Warriors and the Cavaliers. I want to get your thoughts on Chauncey Billups. You know, he's been an all-star player, perhaps a Hall of Famer. He was called, you know, one of the most valuable players in the league when he played for the Detroit Pistons, and they won a championship when they beat the Lakers. And I just want to ask you, he's met for the second time with the Cavaliers. They've already chased off a guy that helped them get to the finals 3 years in a row. Chauncey Billups has been in the press box the last couple of years. Now, I hope everybody gets an opportunity. But why are they bypassing guys on the sideline, on the bench, helping you win, and going to someone who was on TV just last week? Big C, your thoughts?
We're starting to see that transition in all of professional sports. If you look at the NFL, where they have reached into the broadcast booth and brought, you know, former players into the executive office. Your golfing buddy John Lynch there in San Francisco.
Yeah.
You know, he's made it, but we saw that transition with Jay Cutler and Tony Romo.
Yeah.
Going to the broadcast booth after they couldn't win a game on the field. They're going to be a winning team in the broadcast booth. So this is becoming the new image. We talk about the generational gap, and they're hoping that they can get some people that were not that far removed from the game and still be in contact and understand the business aspect, that they can transcend to the players that are out there playing presently for the teams.
Yeah.
That's where you need to build the relationships more so than anything. We talked about football, how that old guard establishment does not allow the younger players to create the image that they want to have.
Yeah.
So you have to see what we created.
Yeah.
We won't allow you to alter it. I mean, you think the leap of faith that the NBA took when they went from the short shorts that you still wear around they have now.
Hey, I got a boot out here in California that I get on. It's not mine, but I get it too. That's why you see me in short pants every now and then, Big C. But, you know, you're right about so many things. And, again, I just congratulate people who have a conscious mind to do things that are right. You know, I really want to just say, not that I have the need to say it, but I do want to congratulate Pope Francis for meeting with NFL officials to talk about inclusiveness and how to treat people fair. We know that doesn't come out of the White House, so I hope a lot of people at least take heed in that, Big C, so that's also important. We talked about the Oakland Raiders and Derek Carr getting that $25 million. At least that's on the table, Big C. You know, give or take $1 million, so hopefully they'll land him and keep the Raiders strong. You know, Vince Young and the CFL, their departure because of an injury, and the CFL starts tomorrow. Talked about the Lakers and their big players going all over the country, and so we've done that. We'll be coming to you from downtown San Francisco tomorrow when we cover the NBA draft and the land where the Golden State Warriors have really put the imprint on the NBA winning championships. Big C, as we close out, I want to ask you what you're looking forward to coming up to this week, Big C. Go right ahead, sir.
Like I said, we got the NHL, expansion draft tonight in Vegas, as well as their All-Star Award, and the wrap-up of the playoff and regular season. They're not going to wait as long as the NBA to have their award show. NBA, I think it's the week before Thanksgiving.
I think they will. That's funny.
Award show. But, it's always exciting. We got the college baseball players playing in Omaha, Nebraska. The College World Series is heated up.
Yeah.
Just like the temperature there in California. So it's just an exciting time, Jonathan. We got the women playing baseball, in Oklahoma City. So for college sports, it's always a great time, Jonathan, because you always have someone being competitive and looking for an opportunity to win a championship on the NCAA level.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to sitting down watching some great college basketball, baseball, men and women, Jonathan.
Yeah. But see, I tell you, I appreciate everything you bring. They say that Warren Buffett is Jay-Z's mentor. Big C, I think you're mentoring the world of broadcast when so many things you talk about come to fruition. And speaking of things coming to fruition, every Monday through Friday at 5 to 6 p.m. worldwide on the iHeartRadio network. Follow Big C Sports, the #1 sports show in the universe, according to Big C and them good old boys down south. We always want to tell you, there's never, ever any excuse for domestic violence. No woman should ever have to go through that garbage. If you know anyone going through that garbage, just call 911 so she doesn't have to deal with it on her own. And as we always tell you on every Big C Sports program, we thank you, we appreciate you, and we hope that you have a super fantastic day.